So Shane said, hey, the only way I'm going to do this is to go and do something on my own. So in 2011, he started to build out his model and develop what he felt was going to be the best experience for a barbershop. So Shane started to put together the model, and the focus that Shane had throughout the entire process was providing a service for the clients that came into his shop that was above and beyond anything else that was being offered at the time. It truly separated Shane and Diesel Barbershop from any other customer experience out there in the barbershop industry.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the next Best Franchise Network's Fireside Chat. I'm joined here by Sean O'Brien. And Sean, I'm thrilled to have you with us. Sean is with Diesel's Barbershop, or I should say Diesel Barbershop, correct? I want to make sure you get it right. Which was founded in 2011 and started franchising in 2017. So I'm going to let Sean kind of give us the quick overview of the business. Sean, let me turn it over to you.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. First of all, let me start by saying the founder, Shane Brown, started the business back in 2011 because he saw a need for providing above and beyond customer service for his clients. The other thing about Diesel is it is kind of what I would call the hip, cool, edgy barbershop. It's old school in the 20th century, or excuse me, 21st century. It's got video games in there. Don't forget, you're going to get your drink, you're going to have your beer. So it's a very relaxing and enjoyable environment. As you're sitting in there, we're not a chop shop. We want people to come in. We want people to enjoy themselves and really experience what Diesel Barbershop customer service is all about.
That's incredible. Okay, I love it. Love it. So tell me a little bit about the ideal franchisee. Who are they? What industry do they come from? Do they need to have previous experience as a barber or hairstylist or in the salon industry at all?
Great question. No, it's interesting that a majority, if not all, of our current franchisees come from other industries. Some are were and are small business owners. Some came from large organizations where they had a leadership role within that organization. So when we look at what would be ideal from a franchisee perspective for Diesel Barbershop, we're looking at people that really enjoy working with people and developing people and really having an impact on their local community. And that's really important because we're able to provide jobs for people within the hair care industry, which is a really cool thing to do. It's great to be able to work with these people and help and see them flourish in our barbershops and see them grow. So I would say that there's no necessarily ideal franchisee. We have a mix, and we're open to a mix as long as they understand the importance of leading a team, working with a team, and really understanding how they can nurture that relationship by creating a culture that's inviting. That's what's really important to us, not saying specifically that we need somebody from this industry or that industry. As far as people having to be licensed, meaning being a licensed cosmetologist, licensed barber, that's not necessary. Our franchisees today are not licensed. It's important, obviously, that they have somebody licensed who's running the shop, and everybody in the shop has to be licensed who's cutting hair behind the chair. So that's important. But as far as from an owner perspective, no, we have people from all kinds of industries. They're not licensed. They're just looking to help people work in the service industry and work in an environment that obviously is continuing to grow.
Love that. Now, speaking of hiring individuals, is that part of the process that you help new owners with when it comes to identifying prospects and hiring them and bringing their teams on board?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do at Diesel is we are with our franchisees from the time they sign up with us all the way to their grand opening. And part of that process is us working with them in the recruitment process. Now, granted, they have to be the ones that are doing the hiring because they're going to be their employees, but we do work with them. We do provide the tools for them from an interviewing perspective, like what questions to ask through the interviewing process, and what's going to be the best type of cutter. We call them cutters because we've got barbers and we've got stylists. So kind of a combination there. So we do work with them very closely. We provide them with the tools that they need to hire the right team. And then from there, it's up to them to make those final hiring decisions.
No, okay, great. Tell me a little bit about the markets that you're already in, how many locations you have, and if there's any particular markets you're really focused on expanding into.
Yeah, good question. So we currently have 28 locations nationwide. A large majority of those locations, I shouldn't say that, a good portion of those locations are located in Texas. The company was founded in San Antonio, Texas. So we do have 4 locations in San Antonio, and then we've got some in the surrounding area, and then additional locations in kind of the Houston area as well. But we are located all throughout the country. Our focus is to continue to infill our existing markets. So, for example, we're in Charlotte. We've got a single location in Charlotte. We'd love to go ahead and fill that in. We've got a single location in Colorado. Love to fill that in. So we want to go ahead and move forward and filling in our existing markets. But in addition to that, we are focused on adding new markets. The 2 key markets that we are striving for right now would be the Atlanta market as well as Nashville. So we are definitely looking to add some franchisees in those 2 markets particularly. And then, as I said, continue to infill the existing markets that we currently have.
Okay, perfect. If we could, let's take a step back from the high level of the business and where you're taking it, and talk a little bit more about the customer experience. I'd love to hear about the services that are offered within each location and really how that is unique.
Yeah, so I think the important thing is, sure, you can go anywhere and get your hair cut, right? That there's a million different locations. Every corner shop will have the ability to cut your hair. But one of the things that's important to us is that this is about the experience and making sure that when the customers come into our shop, that they have just an incredible experience. Everything from the moment that they walk through the door and they're greeted by our team there. They're greeted the minute they walk in the door. They're handed a drink. While they're waiting, they can sit and they can go ahead and play an arcade game. We have the old school arcades. We've got the Pac-Mans and things such as that in our shops. So they can go and they can experience that while they're waiting. So it's not like they're sitting there on their phones. We provide that. Then when they get into our chairs, I mean, we have a whole list of different services, everything from haircut to trims, beard trims to waxing, massage. It's a massage, which is part of it. Warm towel and things like that. So we offer everything that kind of, for lack of better phrases, pampers the client when they're in the chair, really creating that experience that is welcoming and also is inviting so that they want to come back and continue to use our diesel barbershops to get their services performed. So we offer a lot of different services, primarily for men, but we do women's cuts as well. Our cutters can and do women's cuts, but primarily our clients are males that are coming in, and our cutters are very, very accustomed to working with the male clientele. So their cuts obviously tend to be a little bit more specific to the male clientele, and being able to go ahead and cater to that audience as well. So again, everything from haircuts to gray blending, to waxing, to beard trims, to full beard services, everything involved in anything that would provide a great experience for our customers.
Excellent. Well, I know firsthand having a good barber is critical, especially one that can do the hair and the beard. I'll keep going back to the same person for life if they can do both well. So talk to me about customer acquisition. How do your franchisees get started in the market with advertising and marketing and getting those clients into chairs?
Sure. I mean, I think that what's key is focusing on the local market. And for lack of better phrases, kind of some grassroots marketing tends to work very best for our barbershops. So really getting entrenched in the local community, working through community events and things such as that. Going out. Now, again, we're not a discounter. So you're going to see that our shops are not going out there and couponing. On occasion, we'll go and do special events where there is some type of discounting. But for the most part, we're not a discount barbershop. That's not who we are. That's not what we're all about. We're all about providing the service. So it's a lot of grassroots marketing within the local community. Going out, working with local other establishments, whether that be in a strip mall, surrounding strip malls and things such as that, going out there, introducing yourself. We have poker chips that we hand out that are very inviting to bring, new clients into the shop to come in and try our services. Of course, there's Facebook. And then quite a few use LinkedIn. You can go out on LinkedIn and they're posting that on LinkedIn to introduce the product and services that they offer. And then, of course, using other types of internet searches and things such as that. And we do help to support them because we run, whether it be weekly or monthly, promotions on some of our services, as well as some of our products that we sell. So those are, we provide them with the marketing materials that they can go ahead and they can leverage out on different media areas like LinkedIn and Facebook and things such as that. So we do support them. We do provide a lot of the materials that they would need. All they need to do is go ahead and just take that out to market and execute on that, and then continue to work with the local community to bring in new clients.
Great. Let's talk about the build out process and the cost in getting started as a franchisee. Walk us through kind of the process that you work with them during the identifying of a location to the build out and things of that nature.
Yeah, so we take it from start to finish, right? And we're with them every step of the way. And I think that's the important thing about what separates Diesel from other companies out there, especially when you look at some of the larger companies. They're not as personal, they're not as entrenched as we are. So one of the things that we focus on is, first of all, helping them to find the right location. We have a program that we developed with an outside company to identify based on specific demographics that are coming into our shop. And then we tie that into the population and say, okay, this is where an ideal Diesel barbershop would be. And we have that information because obviously we have corporate shops that we are able to get that information from. So we've used that information to identify specific markets on the real estate side. And then we work with a local realtor to identify a strip center that's going to meet the needs of the new franchisee. And then from there, we work with them on the build out, all aspects of the build out. So we have a real estate team that continues to work with the Z on the build out, selection of everything. So we have vendors signed up and partners that we work with for everything from the shampoo bowl to the chairs to the mats, you name it, everything we have lined up. So it's pretty much a turnkey opportunity for franchisees when they come on board with us, so that they're not having to walk the path alone. We walk side by side with them, again, from start to finish. So we go to the real estate, we go to the build out, then we work with them, as they work through the build out process. Then as we move into the grand opening, we're with them helping to set up the grand opening interviews. So the initial interviews, as I stated earlier, we're working with them on local marketing. We're helping to give them the tools and an outline of what's necessary to go ahead and market their business. So that takes them all the way through the grand opening. And then depending, and how many shops we would be opening, there could be someone from the Diesel team that's on site to help them through that actual grand opening. So again, we work hand in hand with all of our franchisees from start to finish, because obviously it's imperative that they get off the ground with a bang, so to speak, and they're successful right out of the gates. And it's imperative that we help to make sure and ensure that success throughout that process.
Excellent. And then let's talk about cost. I know that franchise disclosure documents will go into a lot more detail, but just on a general level, what's necessary as a minimum investment and liquid capital?
Sure. So when you look at it, our franchise fee currently today is $50,000. And we do have some requirements. We have financial requirements. First and foremost, we do require that our franchisees have liquid capital of $120,000. And then we are looking to ensure that our franchisees have a net worth of $500,000. So when you look at the total costs of the build out, total cost of everything that's encompassed in getting your shop open, there's a range, and our range is somewhere in the between the 340, call it 346.5, if you will, all the way up to about $450,000. The reason there's a variance between a difference between those numbers is depending upon where you're opening your shop. The cost of the build out could be more, could be less, depending upon the size of the shop, depending upon the number of chairs. Most of our shops have about 10 chairs. Some people have said, hey, I want to have more. There's a cost obviously associated with that. You have to have a bigger space. So pretty much that's what the range is to get the shop open. and get this shop operating. There does include a small amount of working capital. Generally, that it's about 3 months is included in those numbers that I just shared.
Okay. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Are there any particular programs in place for U.S. military or veterans?
Yeah, so we do have the Vet Fran program, which is a 10% off of the first franchise fee. So it would be 10% off of the current 50,000. Yep. And we do offer that to all vets. We encourage that. We're excited to have vets come on board. In fact, I think it's a really good fit, especially because of our, kind of edginess, if you will, and being, within the barbershop industry. It's a perfect fit for vets. And we'd love to bring vets on board.
Nice. Okay, great. Well, are there any other details that you would want to share with a prospective franchisee with us today?
Yeah, I would just say that, one of the things that I've stated and I'll continue to emphasize about Diesel Barbershop is we're different, right? We're a little bit edgy. We're a lot of fun. One of the things that's important is that, as you're working with franchisors, is that you get with a group that you're comfortable with, that you enjoy working with. And one thing about Diesel Barbershop is we are not corporate. I don't know any other way of explaining it. Yes, we have a corporate that kind of works with you and partners with you, but we are not that structured corporate that people are trying to escape and get away from. We're very kind of loose. We have a lot of fun during our conventions. People just really appreciate getting together with the team. So I would say that number one, we're different in the sense that, we provide a service that I believe nobody else is able to provide at this point. Truly differentiates us. Plus the environment that we're in. It's hip, it's cool, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's something that people really want to be a part of. And obviously, there's an opportunity for people to be quite successful if they work hard. So that pretty much sums it up for Diesel.
That's great. You can check out the website, dieselbarbershop.com, for more details. And I checked it out myself. I almost immediately knew what you guys are all about, the vibe, the energy that you're talking to. It's great. Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate you being here with us today and sharing these details with everybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.